Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Virtual Vines. Dan Mackey with Load of Grape, TC Frazier from Tryon Distributing, and we didn't plan on wearing blue together, but I guess we're both wearing blue tonight.
Great minds think alike, right?
Yes.
Everyone goes through a blue phase, right? All the great artists, right? So
I have blue on too, but you can't see
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Technical guy again. I worked so hard this week, and I'm still getting audio feedback. So I have the slideshow ready, which we will bring up on screen. So I can add this to the stream. I got right there. I got the slideshow, so we can bring that in when we need to. But
we're getting more feedback.
We're getting
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I tell you, right? It was just, and so that didn't work out. But tonight we're going to talk about wines for fall, and what a perfect day to do it. I mean, fall seems to be here. Yeah. I mean, it is the temperatures
dark at 6:30, basically.
Yes,
the mist is already there. You smell the fire as you go by. The raking of the fall leaves. You already see the trees. I mean, it's kind of one of those days you just notice. Wow, like all the bursting yellows and oranges and reds and stuff like that.
One good rain, doesn't it?
Yeah, one good rain, and you start getting all that feeling of fall. And so we're going to talk about those wines and when the food.
Fun lineup.
Fun lineup, and the foods start getting heartier. So we have heartier foods, therefore we have a little bit heartier wines to start getting into. And folks, this is a stellar lineup. I'm really excited about it because we're going to hit a lot of wines that we haven't really talked about throughout the spring and summer of doing this show. I mean, I think we're episode 30 something. I have no idea.
Well, maybe some wineries that you maybe know of, but wines we haven't done maybe by them or tried and true favorites. We got, Italy, which, hey, we can just do Italy from now until the cows come home, I think, for some of your guests out there. And shout out to the past few weeks of the folks that came to our little alfresco little pop-up thing, too, which was fantastic.
For everybody who might have been in on our Taste of Italy dinners over at the Porterhouse, thank you so much.
Man,
fantastic meals and wines.
Still thinking about that carbonara, those big chunks of bacon.
So good. So good. We will be doing a Thanksgiving dinner. I should have the dates here shortly, and we'll be posting that up. So stay tuned if you want to do a little Thanksgiving wine pairing, so you know what to have with Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, you keep talking about food so much. I saw when we came in, you had some food pairings already, man. So
I do have them in the slideshow.
We have Chef Boyardani over here that's going to
we're going to talk about. Yeah, well, you want to sometimes know what your you want to know. You want to know. Hey, this is what I'm. This is what you want.
You get inspired, right?
You want to be inspired when you're sitting there going, I don't know how to use this.
Like how many people will be wearing royal blue tomorrow, right?
Right. I mean, who knows? Tomorrow, everybody's be like, oh, royal blue day.
Exactly.
But I do want to say, if you want to comment in the comments, I got to add this up here. I know I have a little link here on how to do it, and I thought I had a little thing on how to do it. Where's the thing? I'm going to do this here. I'm going to go right here.
You're a technical guy, Danny.
I know.
If you can't make it happen, nobody can make it happen.
I know. I'm going. And then. So a lot of fun stuff going on here. We also have our Hats Off to You campaign, where you can get that there's, I know a couple were on the, three or four bottles away. They were really close. So you can be getting these cool hats to wear around town and support people and tell everybody where you get your wine. But it is time to get started, and let's do that. And the first thing up is going to be a lovely white Bordeaux.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
Bordeaux Blanc.
Well, and I think everything that we're going to do tonight, because I think the past we've had so many great suppliers, some great suppliers coming up. So when Danny and I were thinking about which wines to do, we just thought about some nice, not only hearty wines, like you said, but just fun wines that, again, are very budget friendly, that kind of fit all kinds of flavor profiles and cuisine types and things like that. Mm-hmm. So with the first white wine, we were thinking, okay, we've done the nice, steely, high acid white wines. We've definitely done those oakier Chardonnays. But, for fall time, for those of you that like, okay, well, I want the richer white wines, but I don't want the oak. The oak on my white wine's too much. It's a little too rich, too creamy, whatever. Well, this is kind of your answer right here, a nice white Bordeaux. I think, Bordeaux, as a region, produces so much wine, mostly red, that the whites kind of get overlooked a little bit. People don't think of the white wine. So it's essentially Sauvignon Blanc, which is one of the main grapes, and Semillon. And they really counterbalance one another. Semillon's like the peanut butter to Sauvignon Blanc's jelly, if that makes any sense. Semillon is like this richer, thicker skinned grape, ripens a little bit later, aromatic, definitely like Sauvignon Blanc is, but has more of this, lower acid, higher pH, as we talked about in previous shows. How that scale kind of is inversely related. And then Sauvignon Blanc, which ripens earlier, kind of gives it that beautiful aromatic, that stone, that peachiness. I mean, when I first opened this bottle, I just thought I was just cutting right into a peach all of a sudden. I mean, just so beautiful, so aromatic. But the Semillon, which I mentioned, is a richer grape, has a little bit more viscosity, so therefore it doesn't need oak aging. Now, there are some wineries that may do a smidge of used oak barrels, but this particular producer, Chateau de Casse, is known for really one their hauntingly, beautifully brilliant sweet wines, their Sauternes, which they make 4 or 5 times a decade. They make red, but quite frankly, their white wine is where it's at. So every vintage is between about 60 to 70% Semillon, about 20 to 30% Sauvignon Blanc, with just a skosh of Muscadel, which again kind of gives it that nice white flower flavor to it. But again, I think flavors of fall. I mean, a white wine that is just rich, thick without having that oaky. Again, when you put a white wine in oak barrels, in my opinion, you got to be very careful. It's like, a very loud flavor with something otherwise very, soft, right? So, there you go, Danny. So perfect. So, perfect. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So
there's a little bit of a view of the grapes right there. So Semillon, nice little wider cluster on that. And the Muscadel and the Sauvignon Blanc there up on the screen for you to take a look at. Beautiful grapes. I mean, really. I mean, but it's fun to see the interesting turn of color as well when you're starting to look at this. I mean, you got kind of this kind of mid-dark green with the Semillon. You got this more orangey yellow with the Muscadel, and then the Sauvignon Blanc is, like kind of that Granny Smith apple color. So just really cool. I find looking at the grapes, just as interesting as
because the grape's not just a grape.
It's not.
It's like tomatoes. There's Cherokee, there's heirlooms, there's Roma.
Yes.
And quite frankly, I think that's a perfect analogy, because in terms of agriculture, there's really nothing else globally that's grown as diverse outside of tomatoes really is grapes, because of all the things, all the different grapes they grow. I mean, you go in a grocery store, there's like one type of corn, one type of banana, right? But in terms of wines, I mean, God, look how many different wines we can have at just your local, A&P, right? Let alone at a nice wine shop like a load of grapes. So again, guys, this is a wine that will Venn diagram those people that like the Wente Riva Ranch. You maybe have had a couple wine clubs ago, the Sidewood Chardonnay. Again, it kind of escapes me, but I know we've done a few other, fairly oakier style white wines on the show before. But then also some of those fans that like the Bordeaux Blancs, the Pig Pools, people that like the Frenzies out there, the people that like the Pinot Gris. This one really splits the difference. It's kind of the best of both worlds, and you really don't feel like you're skimping. So Danny's got the map up here, guys. So the little green area at your bottom left-hand corner, kind of think of Los Angeles or San Diego for us, if that makes any sense. But that's if you look at the Atlantic Ocean, kind of a big estuary that forms right there called the Gironde, is, again, was probably the most famed wine region, not only in France, but entire world. Just to put it in perspective, guys, Bordeaux, that little green area, that light green region right there, just that region alone makes more wine than the entire country of Germany. So that's kind of an interesting factoid. Also, another factoid for those of you that are more numbers-based, about 300,000 acres planted in just that one region. California is like a little over 500,000, right, in all of California. So Bordeaux makes a lot of wine and, really conjures up images of, I know grandiose chateaus, and for every one of those, there's 10 small boutique wineries out there. Chateau de Casse is one of them. And honestly, I think after some of these virtual vines that we've done, the Kermit Lynch. This is a Kermit Lynch item, and I think we've developed a small following for the Kermit Lynch folks.
It's not our only Kermit Lynch tonight.
It's not the only Kermit Lynch tonight.
We have two tonight.
And this is another book that I swear we could just do a Kermit Lynch wine from here until
we probably will. We probably will.
But I guess the point being is I feel like there's some of you out there that just know, all right, it's Kermit Lynch. Okay, I'm at least game to try a bottle. So again, this is a beautiful wine, drinking great now, 2019. But I've had a few of these wines that were well over 10 years old and were fresh and zippy and vibrant and just full of life as well. So again, this is a wine super sophisticated. I think worth every bit of $75 that you're going to pay on a restaurant list. Normally this would be probably right on that $50, $45, $50 in a lot of fine wine retail shops, not even in big cities, but just a Greensboro type city. I'm
pulling it up right now because I forgot.
You got to build the suspense because I know he's going to kill us when he puts the price up here. I got to build
the suspense because I did. In all my craziness of getting everything done today, I didn't add in the little ticker across the bottom, so I failed there. So I gotta go to the website
and everything else.
Yeah, I did everything else. There's so much stuff today, and I feel like as we add to the show, I keep on forgetting one little thing each week. And I promise, one of these days I'm going to nail it and not be stressed, and everything's going to be perfect. But I believe
that's
on
the
this
Emmy
one,
show. That's the Emmy show.
yeah, that is going to be the Emmy show.
Like Virtual Vines 45 was on point that time.
Tanya, you have any luck getting the pricing?
Sorry.
Never mind.
I'm on it right now.
Never mind. I will pull it up right here.
You have so much going on over there.
I know. So there is the pricing. I'm going to tease the pricing for everything here tonight. So the pricing there on this one down to $18.
Yeah,
18.
Yeah,
What a deal!
This is a hookup at $30, guys. I mean, $18. I mean, it really is a steal. I mean, please, we're all online. Go Google it. But you can definitely see that this is an unbelievable value. And again, speaking of fall flavors, this is something that, we have plenty of white wines that are super nice, high acid, but we got some of those white wines maybe that are a little bit deeper, richer baritone. This is like, this is like more that mid-tier. This is more the, deeper tenor, higher baritone, not quite your base, not quite berry white, right, for the white wines. And look at this. This is definitely something that could hold up to a nice field tenderloin. Look at that. Field
tenderloin with a little brandy peppercorn cream sauce. If you hadn't had dinner, I'm apologizing because I actually have photos of this stuff for you tonight. Absolutely, which sounds absolutely yummy to go with this wine. So if you're looking for that inspiration of how can I use this, how can I pair this?
It doesn't have to be just, fish or cheese plates and things like that.
Though it can be. It can easily be any kind of fish.
But this is definitely something that, with the brandy reduction, the Apois cream sauce, I mean, that's super French right there. With this wine, totally could hold up. So again, I think as a matter of fact, for those of you that do have a little bit of a sweet tooth, and I say that, sparingly because, they're sweet and then they're sweet, right? There's a few Sauternes, just a few. I let Andy and Danny try a few weeks ago. They have a few bottles of the same producer in the shop that, again, for the price point, just fantastic. And we may, who knows, do that at some point down the road. But again, the one problem about Kermit Lynch, the wines that we don't get a lot of them. So this is something I think I'm sitting on like 5 cases of. We get 3 times a year, and that's about it, So
yeah, not a ton of it available. So thank you, Craig. $18 a bottle. I have it up on the site. I don't know if we might blow through everything if you guys go crazy on the way, because this is the only white wine tonight. We're drinking a lot of reds. It's almost nothing but reds.
But
Get
we
a
figured
full or get no
but if we had to do one white wine, and we didn't want to just be obvious, we didn't want to just play Satisfaction by the Stones. We wanted to get back in there, go B-side on them.
Yeah.
White Bordeaux is total B-side, right?
B-side,
deep tracks,
something you probably wouldn't have grabbed off the
haven't thought about in a while.
No,
you're like, wait a minute, man, I totally haven't even thought about that. So again, for even folks out of there like, hey, Danny TC, give me the red stuff. This is easily going to be a white wine that all the red wine drinkers out there are going to love.
And as long as someone's going to cook it for Catherine, I think she's game. So yeah, maybe somebody might volunteer you to cook you dinner if you bring the wine. How about that? So that might be a good idea, right?
I saw an old movie recently. It was a guy walks in and he was like, what's for dinner? And the lady goes, steak and potatoes and asparagus. And she rattled off a few other things. He goes, well, that's funny. I don't smell anything. She goes, oh, it's all at the store. You have to go get it. So that's great. Yeah, so I had to tell Danny. I was like, Danny, I don't smell any food. He's like, TC, it's all at the store. Just waiting on us to go from there.
Go get it. Just to go get it. So let's move on to our next wine. We'll keep the show rolling. Again, you can buy any of these wines that are on tonight's show over at theloadedgrape.com. So if you don't want to be teased on any of these prices here on out, you can go right now and look at the pricing and add things into your cart as we talk about them. We also have a giveaway. Don't forget from last week. Yeah. I almost forgot to talk about this, but from last week, we were giving out this 1.5 give you perspective, 1.5 liter of rosé from Houchard, so we're going to give that away in a couple of minutes. But I wanted to let everybody get in here. We'll get a couple of wines in. So next,
let's do that.
Yeah. So you know what? We love Italy. Everybody on the show loves Italy. And you know what? There's a good time for a good Italian wine, and that is a Dolcetto.
Give us a little thumbs up again for those folks that came out the last few weeks and just to be in the best weather. My wife and I tried to eat al fresco this past weekend. We had the tail end of a hurricane, right? So that's what's going to happen. But God, the last few weeks we easily could have dined like the Tuscans do, right? So
yeah, we lucked out on that, not having to deal with that with the Italian dinners, and here we are. Actually, I jumped the gun on that. I got to add it to the stream, and then here we go. So here is this lovely, again, gonna go to Kermit Lynch on this one. This nice, lovely Dolcetto.
Yeah. So Il Plazzotto. This is a little Dolcetto di Alba. So this is its own appellation in Alba, which is in the Piedmont region. And again, for those of you that came out last few weeks, Piedmont, as I kind of was trying to hearken on, even though it's neighbors to the south is Tuscany, they couldn't be further different in terms of their food tradition, winemaking tradition. I think they emulate more of France, in terms of their weather, in terms of how they make their wine. They're fervently they believe in one varietal, whereas a lot of times other places in France or even Italy, they blend, right? So Dolcetto is an earlier ripening grape to Barbera. And Barbera and Dolcetto are really the everyday farmer field grapes that you see in the Piedmont. Unlike Nebbiolo, which only grows in like 8% of the entire region of Piedmont, most of that in Barolo and Barbaresco, the everyday wine, right? The pizza, what you want to watch with DVR. Difference between the two, as I mentioned, Barbera is a later ripening. So Barbera has a little bit more weight to it. I mean, but Barbera is still medium, maybe medium plus to some folks. Yeah. I think the fruit is a bit more luscious, a bit more almost New World style. Dolcetto ripens a little earlier, even though that prefix, dolce, sweet, there's nothing sweet about this wine. It's, I would say, more light plus, medium minus. Maybe think of 2 shades heavier than a Pinot Noir. And Dolcetto is that great when you're like, okay, maybe I'm going to have something heavy a little bit later, or maybe I typically prefer white wines. I just want something maybe a little heavier than my King Estate Pinot Noir or Inscription Pinot Noir, whatever the case may be. I think Dolcetto is a great one to go. So this is a winery, small little winery. I mean, the guy only farms grapes. There's a little picture of the winery there. Yeah, it's a catering business. It's actually a little restaurant. Yeah, you see there. Yep. Yeah, the steep hillsides. of Alba, the little caves that you can kind of go and eat dinner there.
It's a residence. Like you can actually stay there inside the caves.
Yeah.
How cool! I told Tanya, I started showing the picture. I was like, I want to go here. This is where I want to stay if we go to Alba. I mean, that's where I want to be. Like this seems like a cool place.
If there's anybody tonight that buys like a half a pallet, I can put in a good word for you. I mean, we'll go. Well, I'm sure we'll find the inventory, right? But this is a fun little winery, guys. That they only produce between 2 SKUs, or at least the 2 SKUs they put out in distribution, 1,200 cases annually. This particular Dolcetto comes from a vineyard that's only 3 acres total, 1.5 hectares. So it's not a very, very big vineyard, not a lot of wine to be had. But this is just, again, a beautiful fall wine where you just, throw that little, throw your Snuggie on while you sit by the fire pit. And this could easily be one that just goes down so quickly, too quickly, honestly.
It's already going down quickly for us, I can tell you that. But yes, I mean, would you not? I mean, those are the Italian lights that me and Tanya can't afford because we get the prices down so cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, one of these days we'll be able to do it in the backyard, and then you'll have virtual vines in the backyard. But until then, we're going to have to just be inside my office. But also, I wanted to show you this kind of we can show you where Alba is here. Let's bring that up there for you guys to see.
Yeah, so there's the old Buda Italy, guys, and as I said, there's really not an area in all of Italy that they don't make wine, but the Piedmont, along with Tuscany and the Veneto, are 3 areas that you really should kind of, I'd say focus in on as you start your Italian journey, and Dolcetto is certainly a varietal that's going to be easy on the pocket. So Danny brought up the map here, and sort of this like cream beige color in the top left-hand corner, kind of like where I don't know, like Idaho or Washington State would be for us. I know I the U.S. analogy, but that's like for me. I mean, I always feel like I can give that. It's that top left corner, northwest, right?
Northwest,
yeah, not too far away from the French and Swiss border. But again, it's like this little amphitheater that's carved out by the Alps, and that even though you sit there, like we did the Gavi, right? It's a little white wine.
Oh.
So you can literally, at the winery that we were, and as a matter of fact, probably not too far away from this because they're not more than an hour drive, you could actually be standing there, and 750 miles south, be standing on the Italian coast and see North Africa. So that's just kind of shows you the diversity of that. But again, Dolcetto, for those of you out there scratching your head, you're like, I've never heard about that. Yeah, it's Italy is one of those countries that tends to do that to us, but we're here to take you on and kind of dig in there and see what you think. But again, I don't know, Tanya, what do you think? Let's get Tanya and see what she thinks about this wine. I mean, is this like a if I'm just getting into wines or reds, what do you think? Like a nice, a little higher acid, but nice, maybe your Oregon Pinot Noir lover, maybe your Burgundy wine lover, I think would like this wine.
It's not too adventurous, but it's like just enough.
Not too much alcohol.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm digging it. Koa was helping me sniff and swirl it as well.
Yeah, and Danny, as I love, he always brings up these pictures of the grapes, guys. Dolcetto, I mean, it's a big fat bunch there. So again, as a farmer, I want to grow stuff I can make money on. And Dolcetto, Barbera are the things that you make money on. I mean, that's the stuff that, they'll say, hey, ours is a little bit better than down the road. I mean, that's any discerning winemaker should do that.
Mm-hmm. But I say there's a craft from the winemaker as well.
Yeah.
Every just like every chef.
Totally. Yeah.
Little nuances.
Totally. But Dolcetto, is like that earlier ripening, and then Barbera, like I said, a little later ripening. So, beautiful bunches, lots of yield. So there are, for years there have been those bulk producers that make Dolcetto, but you have guys like this right here, Kermit Lynch producer, as I said, 1,200 cases, vineyard planted in 1985, less than 600 cases of this wine right here, guys. I feel like there's a crazy price point about that. Before that, let's look at the little food there.
Yeah. So before we get to the price point, I wanted to tell you what you could pair this with. And this is the perfect time, a little fall pasta, a little Italian white ragu pasta with some wild mushrooms. You can just do regular mushrooms if you're not adventurous, or you could switch it out, no mushrooms, do something different. I mean, that's fine. But getting that little pasta, you could even go with if you wanted to a little bit more ragu style. If you don't want to do kind of a white sauce, so do that as well. But this paired with that pasta, I can tell you right now. Ooh,
that carbonara we did last week.
Carbonara we did last week in the Italian dinner.
Throw some nice pancetta chunks in there, and some nice I know that's some big I know that has a name to it. I'll just call that big penne, but like any kind of like from farfalles to, fettuccinis, whatever's in the cupboard that you got to make that night, man. I'm telling you that with a little bit of this, you'd be good to go.
You could also do this with a lot of pork dishes or like a pork tenderloin or, but I just thought with pasta because we're with Italian wines, and I think a lot of people will go, oh, I'm making pasta. Or, hey, I'm always making the same pasta. How can I spice it up a little bit? Do something a little bit different with your ingredients, especially in the fall time frame. Start using some more fall type ingredients with the pasta, and I think it'll really bring out the wine as well.
Absolutely.
So that is what I suggest to go with this wine. Again, you can throw out any suggestions if you have in the comments below. We'll throw them up on the screen as well. But we have a great little deal price on that. Does anybody want to let me know what it is? Actually, I'll pull it up right here. I'm going to pull it up. I got it right here. And that price, normally $25. We have it down to $23. Remember, if you're in the club, you get your club discounts on top of that. In the checkout, you'll type Cellar if you're in the Cellar Club, Estate if you're in the Estate Club, Reserve if you're in the Reserve or Grand Reserve Club to get your club level discounts on these wines, which I can tell you, even at the Cellar Club discount, it's beating the internet. I'm telling you. So
boutique, a little small. I mean, I'm looking at everything, and probably with the exception of maybe the adaptation, this is by far the smallest case production wine, but obviously a little difference in price there too. But hey, guys, jump on it. If you love European wine, you're a Burgundy lover, you love Oregon, you love more of that Burgundian style California Pinot. Again, a couple shades heavier than Gamay, something like that. I think you'd love this wine. So
this is a beautiful wine. Great price point on this one as well. Again, you're not looking at huge production. Man, now it's gonna be a tough. This is gonna be a tough night because I know how some of these other ones taste like. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna finish up.
Yeah, well, like I said, Italy is just one of those areas. I know between Danny and I, we could probably just sit here and there might be a few that might actually keep up and just like, all right, guys, I got to go to bed at some point. But I feel like Italian wines are one of those few shows where I feel like we could just be like, all right, Danny, we have 300 words we could say about each wine, and that's it, or less, which would be so hard for us, right? It's like talking without our hands. But quite frankly, Italy, it just has it in spades. So anyway,
yes, it does. And now we're going to go from Italy across the globe to Argentina. Now we've done one of the Malbecs from this same winery, La Pasta, way early on,
and sold a ton of it.
So we thought, hey, they have another single vineyard Malbec. This one done by Domingo Fazio, and this is the Fazio Malbec. And I'm telling you, we've done this in the shop, but the problem is, I think when we did it in the shop, we did it as a straight La Pasta tasting, and so therefore, I think when trying all the Malbecs together, it's so tough. They're so different, and so it's just kind of. But doing this one on its own, doing the other one on its own, if you're the Malbec drinker, here it is. Here we go. So let's head on over to Argentina. And Mendoza in that light pink area down towards the bottom if you're going to Patagonia. Now we're going to go up into the mountains. If you look on the right of your screen, we're going to get more in-depth there into Mendoza. And you're going to be more in that Tupungato. That's going to be your area you're going to be looking on in the map. That's where this is grown. Again, single vineyard. And again, the Fazio is the guy who grows it. He's the winemaker. And guess what? Look at that. Look at those vineyards. Gosh, can you get it?
I know, yeah. So
I'm taking TC's.
No, I'm sorry. He loves this wine, so I was going to let him keep on going.
Let me go.
I mean, it's a beautiful wine. I could, you talk about. Well, first off, let's just go ahead and say this for value. For those of you that walk in loaded grape, let's just go ahead and say it. Maybe outside of Spain or maybe southern Italy or Portugal, the best bang for your buck by far. And if you love New World wine, so like you're like, okay, I like California. Found some gems in Paso Robles, but where can my money go the furthest if I love red wine from like medium to plus, in terms of body? And it's Argentina, right? I mean, and I think what's so great about being a wine consumer in 2020 is that, frankly, 20 years ago, we couldn't get wine from Argentina. I mean, you couldn't walk into a wine shop off a Battleground and say, hey, do you have wines from South America? And it'd be at a price point that it would just absolutely over deliver. But as Danny said, about a year or so ago, we did the La Posta tasting, and out of all the La Posta wines, this the Fazio is always the one. And again, I guess this is a very subjective way to say it, but outside of the Palucci and the Pazilla, this is always the heaviest of the three. And so I guess when we're thinking about the fall tasting, we're thinking of, okay, what's a good of the three that kind of has a bit more of that robust kind of thinking of, to get in that red wine season. So, but anyway, it's a project started by Laura Catena, who's fourth generation Argentina Italian winemaker, whose family almost needs no introduction of the Catena family. She does the Tikal wines, the Lucca wines, which I know you guys have done in Wine Club before. But this is like a single vineyard expression that she was able to do. These little, in some cases, fourth, fifth generation farmers that, as Danny said, it's single vineyard. Now, it's not just a, 2 acres. I mean, some of these vineyards can be like 60, 70 plus acres large, but still at the end of the day, they're not mass produced, millions of cases of wine. So, what's great about these wines is they start off in the valley and then they go up the Uca Valley. And then this one actually is up at the top. The Fazio is at the very, very top. A little place called Tupungato, which can actually get well over 4,500 feet in elevation. So I know that's one thing we've talked about. We've had the Robert Craigs and the Cades that we love, but obviously we have to pay the price for because the yields are so low when we go that high up, because the soil is so infertile. Well, Argentina is really where you can live richly without having to be rich. Basically, it over delivers, and this is Malbec that tastes like Malbec. There's so many of these $8.99 K-stack checkout while you're waiting in line Malbecs that you're like, okay, that was okay, but was it, it's not really true Malbec. And, even though it's a native Bordeaux varietal, there's really nowhere else in the world that's taken the proverbial ball and ran with it, with the grape of Malbec as Argentina has. And like I said, I think for $10, it's going to taste like 20. For $20, it's going to taste like 40. And for $30, guys, you could get a bottle that tastes easily like 80, 90. Dollars.
And I can tell you right now, I'm going to agree with Catherine. When COVID is over, and if I win the lotto, I am totally traveling.
Yeah, there you go.
I am totally going to do that. Now, I know I'm going to get this question because how will this compare to the other Malbec that we did earlier, which was the Pisano?
Yeah. So, like I said, so when we did the tasting, and if you actually line them all up, and as subjective as it is, as I said, I think that the Basila or the Palucci is the lightest of the three. The Basila is kind of the nice mid tier that's got kind of some savory herbs in there. The first one's more almost European style, and this one's definitely more New World. It's more vanilla, dark cherry, more chocolate, I think, and again, it'll be a little bit higher up. The tannins are a bit more there. It's definitely drier. I mean, we just went from a wine that's definitely dry to this wine. It's like, man, I almost need go back to that Timberland with the Appois sauce. I almost need that little brandy reduction with this wine right here, because this is again just the color of it too. I think. Sorry. This is just a wine. Yeah,
let me go back. Let me go back.
Yeah.
Let me. You want to get?
Yeah, just to for those that may care about such things, because Malbec, is for years and has been a blending grape for color and for depth and for spice. And so whenever you get a Malbec that is more brick color or more like just lighter or more like a dark rosé, that's probably a pretty thin Malbec made in a very big bulk co-optive way, and nothing against bigger farm equipment, but hey, you can't be as discerning when you're hand picking. But when you hand pick, it's more expensive. But guess what? These guys get to hand pick because they own the vineyards. It's fourth generation. She has contracts with them. She's able to bring these wines in for a steal. I mean, you talk about your Italian lights. These guys, they don't even want Italian lights. These guys, they just want to make the wine and eat the empanadas and their chimichurris and just.
Yeah, this is so. I wanted to show
the Fazio right there. Yeah.
I'm trying to get it to go big screen. Why is it not working? There it is. Okay, so there it is. There he is, Domingo Fazio. Like I'm doing it with the Italian accent.
Well, it is. Well, people don't think about that. Think about South America is much like North America. I mean, the immigrants are first, second, third generation Southern Italian, Southern French, Spanish. So it's not just because they speak Spanish; they're not all just from, say, Spanish-speaking countries, essentially. So,
Yeah, so he is the guy who does it for this wine, growing those grapes on his vineyard, and look at how amazing that Malbec looks.
Yeah,
on
just
the
the color,
vine.
like I said, the color is
Oh.
just amazing. It's a late ripening grape, so that's why in places like Bordeaux, after phylloxera, it's never done that great. In California, you certainly can find producers that do it, but a lot of the Bordeaux producers, even in Napa, they would give the 4 Bordeaux varietals and leave out Malbec, and I'd say why, and they'd say, well, we don't think it adds this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, they're like, well, if I can get another acre, I'm going to plant Cabernet to it. Why would I plant Malbec or something else, right? So again, this is a grape that it's really fun. I've actually even seen some in North Carolina. I haven't tried them yet, but this is something that needs a warmer, more sun-drenched climate, and certainly there's places in North Carolina that has those areas, but it needs 28, 30 plus weeks to fully gestate on the vines, and Argentina, especially as you go up the mountains, it has that. So look at that right there. Look at those onions. Oh,
yeah.
God.
So I'm suggesting pairing this with a pan-seared New York strip steak, a little bit of garlic butter sauce. I would also throw in those onions, and that would just, that's almost the meal itself.
So make you a little compound butter, if you have compound butter in the fridge, just throw you a little dollop on there, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to go with this.
Well, and if you think of meat too, Argentina, that's the meat capital of South America. I know Brazil processes a lot of meat, but in terms of being raised, I don't know what the figures are, but the gauchos, the South American cowboys, they're all in, this is it, man. This is the range. This is where they're at,
Yeah, I think hard pressed right time. I know, and the reason, pan seared because it's cold outside, you can't throw it on the grill, so that's why you're.
Well, pan seared. I'll give you one step further. Cast iron skills. Everyone has that cast iron
right now. Yeah.
Oh man, well, hey, any excuse.
All nice and seasoned up and ready to go.
Throw that cast iron, get it nice and piping hot. Maybe like a Pittsburgh. I'm a Pittsburgh guy, so maybe blacken it up a little bit. Get a nice char mid-rare in the middle. That sauce.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That would be good. And you know what? I would
go have to do this one of these shows.
We're actually have to do this from the kitchen. We're
going to have to hear everyone's going to listen to us ooh and They're like, are they still talking? I'm like, we're eating now.
We're eating now. No. So yeah, that's kind of what I'd go pair with this right now. I think again, we're going to get to the price point here in 1 second. Let me pull that up because I think we have another incredible deal price on this as well, and that is
under $20.
Under 2019
before discount, guys.
Before your discount. So yes, it is definitely. There you
go, plum. That was another adjective I was probably looking for there. Nice plum, but $19 before your discount. So. God, the math genes skip my generation, but let's go ahead and say $17-ish with a discount. So, guys, this is something that, from me to you, if you're a winter chicken dinner, I love California, and that's, give me the, I can't drive 55. That this is your wine right here, guys.
If you're even tonight, if you're just kind of looking to dip your toe, because I know some people might be saving some budgets for next week when we have our special guest Gary Eberly going to be on.
Over delivers, but
gosh!
But hey, if you're a savvy, smart shopper out there, guys, if you're always looking for the deals, I'll just go ahead and say it tonight. Out of everything that we're going to have, this is the deal. I think tonight, in terms of if you like New World stuff. Outside of that, I think maybe the next 2 wines could definitely be because they're a little bit more unique. But if you like more of that riper, lusher, like I said, vanilla, cherry, it said plum there. I'll use that. Beautiful, beautiful, dark fruited wine. That's, it's heavy, but it's not so heavy where you need something, right? Maybe a glass of water or Pellegrino after.
I would actually say with this wine, this is one I read. Actually, the last 2, I don't need food. I can just drink it.
Absolutely,
I can just drink it. I think the food would just throw it over the top.
No, totally.
Go ahead and mark your calendars for next Monday night at 7:30 right here. Gary Eberly will be joining us, talking to the Godfather of Paso.
Tell your friends, tell your family, guys.
Yeah, get everybody on.
And with this UPS thing, which I know we'll talk about at the end of the show, guys, you don't have to just be in Greensboro, Winston, High Point. Guys, you can be in Hawaii technically. You can be in Germany. I don't know. If you got some people stationed abroad, I don't know.
We'll figure out how to ship it. We'll figure it out.
More than that. If we can get to Richmond, Virginia, we're good to go, right? But we have a little feature, as Danny pointed out there. So, guys, if you have anybody that would be of interest, especially some Pennsylvania lovers, Penn State. I don't know if I lost some Ohio State people when I said that.
Yeah,
Penn State, maybe a few, right? But Penn State lovers, I know one of your loyal wine club members is from around Moon Township, right? So I know they're going to be tuning in.
They'll be tuning in.
So,
and if you want, I've already put on the website when you go there all the wines that we'll be talking about in the show, and I've already put the discount and pricing in there. So if you want to order a bottle this week so you can drink along with Gary and us next week, that is something you can do as well.
Guys,
so
grab you a Viognier, grab you a Steinbeck Syrah. Throw the Zinfandel because it's Paso Robles. And guess what?
So good.
Cabernet, the Cabernet, put it away. It's Cabernet. You know you're going to love it.
Yep.
The Zinfandel, for shits and giggles, you're going to try not to open it, but you're going to open it. The Steinbeck Syrah, make that the wine that you buy at the shop and open. I'm telling you guys, I'm just, if I had to endorse one of the reds, that's the one.
And I love the full bore red.
I love the
red blend.
The full bore is going to, to me, I think the full bore and the cab, I think, that those are the wines that are the low-hanging fruit. But, the Steinbeck and the Zen guys, don't sleep on those wines. But come in the shop. It's going to be hard not to pick up probably a bottle of everything.
I know. But definitely, if you're looking to figure out, hey, I want to taste along, grab one. We just gave you some suggestions. Throw it in your cart tonight. This way you have at least one to pick up on Wednesday to taste with you. I do have several of the bottles in the shop now and available. But here's the thing. I only have several. So if you definitely want one, I would order one tonight. This way I guarantee you have it on Wednesday. Or if you forget, come down. Definitely by the going into the weekend, we'll have some extras there as well. But I definitely think this is a great opportunity to say, hey, we're drinking along. Hey, Gary, I have a question about whatever wine you're drinking that night. It'll be a fun engagement. So it'll be a fun way to do it. So let's continue tasting.
Yeah.
Let's keep the show rolling, everybody. And now we are going to go Australia.
Put another shrimp on the bobby.
Another place I want to visit.
No, I'm from Austria. Put another shrimp on the bobby.
Austria.
Any folks still with us can get that reference at this point? Oh, and by the way, should we raffle off the bottle or should we wait a little bit?
We should.
That'll give us some. That'll wake them up.
That'll wake them up. Get everybody excited. So we got all the little things in here. We got lots of people with extra entries because we did. If you got the Who Chart, you got more entries. So here I'm gonna Tanya, would you hand me a lovely hat over there? We'll use one of those hats and.
How about a green one?
We'll use a green one because green ones are lucky. So we'll kind of throw those in there. And we'll get a little.
You should let Koa pick.
Yeah. He'll take the whole hat.
Take all of them.
He'll take the whole. Yeah. Yeah. He'll eat it all.
Whichever name was.
All right.
More
so TC, I'm gonna let you pick this one.
Yeah,
right.
you pick this time.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Who do we got? Michelle O. Michelle.
Oh, Michelle's winning
I know she wins. She wins lots of goodies. So
goodness.
Michelle, you're gonna pick up your bottle the next time you're in the shop.
We'll be dropping Christmas party. That loaded great Christmas party.
Yeah.
Big bottles only, right?
Big bottles only. We'll have. So I'm gonna leave your hat back there. So there you go, Michelle. This is your bottle. This is yours right here. Lovely bottle. So enjoy. When you come and pick it up. So there you go. You can have. Somebody's gonna have a party and have a couple bottles.
I hope I'm invited.
So,
so on to something kind of fun, kind of unique. When we were thinking about fall wines last week, one of the things Danny and I, said was Grenache, in this lineup, and I think we were a little justified. We were kind of making sure we didn't lose any bases, and almost like the first 5 or 6 wine suggested websites were like Grenache.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, all right, we might be on to something.
Yeah, we know what we're talking about.
Right? So speaking of some wines that you guys have crushed it in the past virtual vines, is this brand right here called Yolumba. I think mostly whites. I think
we did the Viognier.
We did the Sauvignon Blanc, but I don't know if we've done any reds.
We have not done any reds.
Okay, well there we
go.
So
this is a first.
And really of all the reds, guys, this is something that you're not going to see out and about quite really at all. I mean, the Y series is the young vines. I would say Yolumba is not a small winery, but they're not a large winery either. They're in that I would consider mid-tier. 50,000 to like 350,000 cases. That's Yolumba. They're not like well, I don't want to name names and get sued here, but there's plenty of wineries in Australia and California that do 2, 3, 4+ million cases, and obviously we know there's not much artisanalship in that. So anyway, guys, Grenache is one of the oldest planted varietals in Australia, even though Shiraz is the name of the game. But the reason we want to do Yalumba is Yalumba, as you probably saw from that. Actually, that is okay, perfect. So Yalumba is actually the oldest family-owned winery from Australia. And when we think about one of the oldest planted varietals, we want to do that. So we think about South Australia. We kind of have this little southern province right here, Adelaide, which you kind of see maybe a little bit there. That's Barossa. So that little orange colored tinge there. If you're looking at the bigger screen, if you can kind of you see Sydney, you see Melbourne. If you go all the way over to that bottom part, that's Adelaide, which is like the 3rd largest city, and that's where you'd be flying into Yalumba. But Yalumba is again large enough to where they do have holdings all throughout South Australia. That's where the young vines come from. But this is part of their heritage series, which again they call the Old Bush Vine. So these are these old school head trained vines. I know we've talked about that before, but these aren't these. Yeah, there you go. Look at that gnarled old. I mean, and what more appropriate wine to do for Halloween? I mean, that's a Halloween-y kind of vine right there. I mean, that just looks like something to be on
just
display.
like Old Vine's in. It's
Old
like
Vine, right? So to me, guys, Grenache is one of those varietals. We certainly know about it from the Rhone Valley. We know it from the Rhone blends in California. But outside of a quote-unquote Grenache from Spain, you don't see a lot of 100% Grenaches in the world. And it's one of those fun varietals that really saps up the terroir. Unlike Cabernet, which is certainly different depending on where it's grown, it almost has a few linear adjectives that it always has. The dark fruit, that people say graphite or plums and chocolates, things like that. Grenache is one of those things that you could take 6 different Grenaches from 6 different areas. You almost think you're tasting 6 different varietals, right? So this Grenache, guys, they try to pick it a little earlier, so it's not super dark. I mean, this is a nice thin, almost like a brick red. You almost maybe guess a Pinot Noir if you just look at it in the glass, maybe like a Russian River or Carneros Pinot Noir. But it just has this nice kind of sage underbrush kind of thing to it.
Yes.
I mean, the fruit is more like a dried fruit. If the flowers are there, again, it's more like these dried, dried violets and stuff like that. But it's just a fun wine that goes with so many different cuisines because of the style of wine. Oak is not a big player with this wine. It's also vegan friendly. I don't know if we've talked about that. A few of our other wines are as well. But I know this one specifically, and there we go. Yeah, Luisa Rosa, which I know it's, Luisa Rosa, you're like, who the hell's that? But in certain circles, if you do, what I do, you hear certain names pop up over and over if you read publications. And she certainly has the magic touch in Australia. She's one of the top winemakers in all of Australia, certainly for Viognier. But she is just doing a ripper of a job is what the Australia. Ripper is like when you're doing a bang up job, right? So she is just crushing it, doing a great job. I've heard her speak a few times online, and again, probably very humble, I'm almost like she doesn't want to be there, which again, always the best cooks and modest folks usually are. I mean, they're like, hey, I don't do this to get in front of the camera. I do this because of the grapes, right? So
that's true.
Yeah,
that is true. And I'm gonna throw out the pairing right here: little beef stew.
Yeah. There you go.
So get
hearty vegetables,
get
some carrots in there.
This is. I was trying to figure out something like, hey, you know what? I got the bottle. I don't have time to cook. Well, you can put this in the slow cooker. You can put this in the Instapot.
Well, I mean, hey, you're on the run still. I mean, hey, even though we're quote unquote at home more, I mean, I feel like we're as busy as we were. I mean, because you have, you got kids, you're trying to do Zoom, you're trying to do laundry, you're trying to do this. Put it in the pot and forget about it.
Put it in the pot, forget about it. Cut up some potatoes, cut up some carrots, put in some green peas. I'm telling you, you got yourself a meal.
Half a glass of the bottle of red wine left over from last night, if that's even such a thing.
If you got a little left,
something throw it in there.
and then pair it with this lovely old bush vine Grenache. And I'm telling you, you're going to have a hearty meal. You're going to be full. You're going to enjoy it, and the wine is just going to pair so nice with that stew. You're going to nice little baguette of bread,
Mhm.
and you'll be the happiest camper in the world.
Well, and it's fun too. I think for those of you that like to do comparative tastings, go in the shop. That Coto de Highest, that Centenario that we've done,
Yep.
That Filon and some of the other Spanish Grenachas. Come in the shop and say, hey guys, what other Grenachas do you have? And certainly most of them will be blended, but outside of Spain, this is a fun one that you can throw in the bag of tricks. See what people think. It's got Danny's favorite enclosure on it, so it makes it easy.
It's a nice little Stelvin enclosure on there, folks. So therefore, you don't have to have a corkscrew. So it's party ready. So if you're going to somebody's house, maybe they say, "Hey, we're making a beef stew. Do you want to come over?" You can go, bring that Yolumba over. We're gonna have that Grenache. It's gonna taste amazing, and they're gonna go, "Wow, that's really good."
Well, and let's not bury the lead. The price. That's probably another reason why we're going to bring it over too. So
let me go right there. The price on this one, $21. Got down 21 plus your discounts. Again, that is once you start adding your discounts, I am beating the internet. So just know that.
I mean, we're finding some great stuff. I mean, guys. Just a few thousand cases. Oldest family-owned winery. As I think Danny showed the picture of the label, there's actually a time clock, almost kind of like Back to the Future. And the reason they did that, and I never really noticed it, was actually to signify their continuation of time. They're basically 7 generations now, still independently owned.
But it's actually part of the winery. Did I not? Yeah. I did not add that. Oh, I didn't add that photo in. I'm sorry.
That's totally fine.
I'm sorry about that.
But show the picture of the label, maybe.
I'm gonna pull this out and so I can show you the picture of the label. I actually had a picture of the time clock because it's actually part of the winery. Let me lighting. Oh, my lighting. All right, there. If you can see the time clock right there. There we go. That right there, time clock. That's actually part of the winery. That's the winery there. And they have a photo of pretty much right around the 1800, 1870 something, 1860 something, with the barrels all in front of the clock, and a guy on horse. If you go to the website, it's like a guy on the horse wagon and picking up the wine and the barrels. So
it's a whole production.
But again, when you start talking about 7 generations of a winery, the pedigree starts speaking for itself. And to be able to get this wine at $21, again, that's it's cheaper than they even sell at their own winery.
Well, we just don't get a lot of this wine. And when I was digging through, I mean, Yolumba is something that people know of for quality. They're one of those where kind of like Wente, they have entry-level wine. So when I say Yolumba, people go, "Oh, I've had that." I'm like, well, you probably had a Yolumba wine in the Y series, which is a good wine, but you're going to see that in the club stores, the chain stores, things like that. But there's a lot of the smaller case production wines, like they call it Samuel's Collection. I guess they've renamed it essentially, and they do these heritage vine cabs and Shirazes. But probably the smallest out of all of those they do is Grenache. I was so happy last week when we were looking. I think this was the wine that we first popped on, and I think of everything that we're going to do tonight in terms of fun, I think this is probably this has got the word fun written all over it. I mean, it's just something. Again, that's got a little pepper, a little spice into it, but also good with the, like you said, beef bourguignons. But I think lamb.
Lamb. Yeah.
I'm thinking like a little rack of lamb, something like that. Or you can even do like those heavier flavors like pesto sauces or something like that.
Yes.
I think so. But a beautiful wine. I think Yolumba across the board. For those of you out there, let's get some thumbs up that have had the Viognier.
Yeah, I know we have fans of the Viognier.
The Patchwork Cat or the Patchwork Shiraz, I think in the past.
Yeah.
I know a few other ones that I'm not thinking about, but maybe the rosé. They do a Sangiovese rosé because of their, some of their Italian heritage from the winery. But again, pound for pound, in terms of wineries globally that have the heritage, the pedigree, but also kind of maintain true and are still fervently independently owned, is Yolumba. And you saw the guy back in March, and he was saying, hey, there was a few years there where they basically got together and said, hey, no raises for 3 years, guys, and if not, we're not going to be able to save the company. And if you want to leave, no harm, no foul. Here's the whatever 401k package they had, and nobody left because everybody was believing in it. And hey, the winery is happy and healthy now, but as any independent goes, I mean, you have those times where it's on a razor's edge from time to time. And like I said, Yolumba, 1849, that's going to happen a couple of times, right? Pandemics or civil wars or whatever the case may be.
You never
right?
know.
So,
You get, and being a person that owns a business, there's certain things you can plan for in your business. There's certain things you can't plan for,
right.
and a pandemic is one that you can't plan for because you just really can't. So, all right, it's time to go on to our last wine of the night. This is our what kind of say reserve level wine, a special wine.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of allocation of this either, so just know, act fast if this is something that you want on this wine. And we're going to go to California. We're going to go to Napa, and we're going to get a little Petite Syrah from Adaptation. So.
Yeah,
we're gonna grab Vanna. Can you bring that that over to us?
Would you like an A?
Yes.
Yes. So here we are. Now, some of you we did the Adaptation cab on the show during COVID, the beginning of COVID. Oh, look at that deep purple.
Yeah. Well, and
it's violet.
Yeah.
You're turning violet. Yes, this is that violety purple on here. It's
beautiful.
Oh, this is so exciting.
So, guys, this is by our friends at Plumpjack and Cade. And Adaptation is the younger vines for.
I'm gonna bring it right up on screen so they can.
Oh, perfect.
Have the big,
delicious.
They can have the big version.
So Adaptation, guys. So as you can see, that little helix. That is actually the DNA helix of a Petite Syrah grape. And for those of you that have the Cabernet at home, or even the Chardonnay, and special brownie points for the Chardonnay, because we don't see a lot of that in the market, is its own. So every pitcher is its own DNA helix of that particular grape. So just to give you a brief nickel tour, Plumpjack was a wine shop in San Francisco. Started by Mayor Gavin Newsom and multi-billionaire Gordon Getty of the Getty oil fame.
Yep.
And they wanted to start their own winery, and a property came up for sale in Oakville in the mid-90s, and they started it and named it Plumpjack. Now, Plumpjack was a reference to a Shakespearean play, and everything that they've named essentially from like Cade to Plumpjack and things like that, even Odette has had a Shakespearean reference. What made Plumpjack so famous when they first started is they were the first reserve tier Cabernet to be put under a Stelvin enclosure. So when they first released their wine, it was a 2-pack case, 1 bottle under cork, 1 bottle under screw cap, and they were saying, hey consumer, here's a reserve tier cab. You be the judge. Age it now, drink it now, whatever you want to do. Let's see if this holds the test of time. Well, that was their big splash in the late 90s. 2005, they bought the property up on Howe Mountain Cade, which actually the largest landowners up on Howe Mountain now, and make some beautiful Sauvignon Blanc up there as well. Well, again, an opportunity presents itself about 7-8 years ago. A little place called Steltzner in the Stags Leap District. 3 miles wide, 1 mile long, very, very small. Came up for sale, and they bought it, and they renamed it Odette. And kind of a little play on, there you go, beautiful winery. Kind of a little play on Odette Kahn, who was one of the lead judges in the blind tasting of Paris, who sort of demanded her scorecard back that said California wines should never be able to beat those of France. But they're very sustainable. They're LEED certified, as you see the solar panels there. Adaptation essentially is the younger vines from Odette with a few other vineyards. And when I say a few other, like maybe 3 other vineyards in like Atlas Peak and, Oakville and a few of these other very prestigious areas. Cabernet and Chardonnay is the name of the game with Adaptation, but they do make a small amount of Petite Syrah, which we have here tonight, which guys, I can't really quantify how much of a note we got from Mom to be able to get this wine. I mean, I think this is only the second time I've ever even had it in my 8 years of selling anything it's not an old wine, but as Adaptation goes, this is the first time we've had it. And Napa Valley Petite Syrah, it's like the last of the Mohicans, man. I mean, there used to be a lot of them. There's not a lot now because Cabernet rules the roost. You can get a lot more, but for those of you out there that love the Bialles and 4 or 5 other Petite Syrah producers I'm not even thinking of right now from Napa Valley, no, for the price point and the depth. I mean, hey, they always said Petite Syrah was the poor man's Cabernet. I mean, it's dark, it's inky, it's purple. I mean, this is a wine where you drink, you go to the bathroom, and you're like, damn, I've been making out with Barney all night. You're like, what is going on? The
quarter of the night, I was making out with Bernie all night.
TC, where was he going with the bathroom? Well, hey, guys, this is what happens when you stick with us this late. the folks that tune in for 20 minutes, they don't get this stuff.
They don't get this. You stay in late, you get the Barney makeout session.
The sauce thickens, the sauce thickens as we go as the night. It gets a little richer.
So this wine's actually made by Jeff Owens.
Yeah.
And that's Jeff there up on the screen for you. So if you want to see what Jeff looks like, that's Jeff Owens. He's making the wine.
Jeff knows what he's doing.
Jeff knows what he's doing.
And guys, can I just say this? He's got what I call the power vest on. Literally everybody, and when I say everybody in Napa Valley that you want to say, I live here or make wine here, has a vest on. I mean, it's like a Patagonia Columbia vest with like their winery's logo. I swear it could be July, it could be January.
They're wearing the vest.
They got the vest. They got the vest on. So that's a classic Napa. That's a bro move right there.
Well, it is fall. It is fall.
Well, no,
I mean, there's nothing on the vines. Give them credit.
I'm not hating the vest. Trust me. I'm all about it. I mean, hey, keep the innards warm, but keep the air flowing where it needs to go. I love it. I'm just saying, for those of you when we get to travel again, and now when you go out there, you're like, damn it, TC, like you never noticed it, but now you're gonna notice it.
You know what? Here, we're gonna throw this up. We're gonna throw this into the. In the comments, let me know if we should be getting loaded grape power vests to wear, not just in the shop. Let me know.
A little bit like the white, like.
I literally just heard on the radio this morning that officially today starts what they call it, Han Solo season.
Han Solo season, yes, it is Han Solo season. So you'll see all the ladies with their black vest, white shirt, boots, leggings. Definitely looking like Han Solo from the 1970s Star Wars.
Tall boots.
With the tall boots, so it's Han Solo season. It's officially started, and they probably will have a pumpkin spice latte in the other hand.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments below. I mean, if you think we should maybe, because I'm trying to come up with what the next giveaway is going to be besides the hat. So maybe like power vests, like that might be a thing, like with loaded grape embroidered in.
Can we do that little cute logo that I found? Little cute grapes.
No. That's not our logo. That's not our logo. That's not our logo. So it's not our logo. We're not going to talk about that on the air.
We're going to put that thing on there?
No, our regular logo. Okay. So let's go back to this and show you some Petite Sirah on the vine.
It's the Great White Buffalo, guys. Less than, I think last time I checked, and I could be misquoting, it's like less than 5% of all Napa Valley is Petite Sirah now, which is a travesty. It's a true old world heritage site. For those of you that have done Petite Sirah with us in the past, one of my spiels I always say is, it's a varietal that genetically can trace some of its roots to the old world, but basically was like that classic Italian field blend where over centuries it's just formed its own thing in California, where there's really nowhere else in the world that grows the quality or quantity of what we talked about Zinfandel, but Petite Sirah as well. And there's nothing petite about it. I think honestly, maybe it was subconscious. We wore the dark shirt tonight because I know when I swirl and spill, not as much stain, not as much stain.
Safer. Safer for us.
Safer, definitely.
Yeah, look at that. I just love the clusters on there. It's man.
And like I said, Petite Sirah for years was the blending grape. It's the grape that was added for color, added for depth. But again, for people that just and I will say Cab, definitely, I love Cab. I mean, Cab from Napa, has an affinity. I mean, there's a reason why people want to go and all over the world to make Cabernet there. But Petite Sirah is one of these things where, you can certainly walk into Odette, and let's be honest, you're going to pay about 150 bones for their Cabernet, and most people will pay it all day long. But in the corner, they're going like, here's this Petite Sirah we have for $85. That you're like, oh my God, like it's that, and how much do you make of that? Oh, no, it's the smallest case production of everything we make. Yeah. And you're like, well, can I just buy that? And you won't be mad if I don't buy any of the Cabernet Odette or the Reserve Odette, which I can assure you is well over $300. Again, I mentioned 80, 85. Danny, what are we? I don't know.
Yeah. So I was gonna go with the pairing first. I was gonna go with pairing first.
I always get ahead of myself.
You just want to go to pricing, but I want to tell you right now, this is what I think I would pair it with: a green chili mac and cheese.
Ooh.
Right. So going out on sometimes you're like, oh, I'm in a rut. I need something new. So go grab yourself some green chilies, cut them up, add them into your mac and cheese, and I'm telling you right now, add a little heat because I think this wine will go well with some heat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to have a little heat and spice to go with this wine.
Bold flavors
Bold
require
flavors.
bold flavors.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a bold wine. Go with something bold. I think you'll enjoy this. So go add that spice. If you wanted to do something, I mean,
Throw a little lobster in there.
Yeah, a little lobster, if you want to throw a little chicken in there or something else, that's fine. But definitely, that's my suggestion right there. So trying to give you some ideas that are outside the box, something that you might not think of when making a mac and cheese, but add make it a little different. So you can always look this up online with any of these recipes if you want to look at the cooking times or anything that I shared tonight. And the pricing on this, 54 down to 52, plus your wine club discounts. So if you are definitely in the estate or reserve clubs levels, get it now, because I'm telling you, at 52, at 54, I'm matching the internet. No. At 52, I'm under the internet.
And I'm not sure if Danny put quantities in, but everything, the first 4 wines were good to go. I'm going to go ahead and say I think 24 bottles.
Yes.
Of this wine. Well, it was 25. We're drinking one, so 24 bottles. Yeah. So guys, make sure you jump on this. Again, I know we got Gary coming up, the holidays coming up, but this is something where, again, this is opportunities knocking. Yeah. I know. Sometimes
and this is not something. If you get a bottle tonight and I'm out and I can't get it, I'm not going to be able to get any more of this. Yeah. Part of the reason that we've been able to get some of this allocation or be able to even get our hands on it first, we've been doing a lot of stuff with Cade and Odette and Plum Jack, and so because of that, they've said, hey, you know what, you could throw this into a show, and again, because it was so low, and I know price point prohibitive on people ordering probably a case of it. Trying to give everybody an opportunity to throw at least a bottle in, and it's just going to be something that I'm just not going to be able to get more of once it's gone. And maybe, hopefully, if we keep our sales levels up in that Plump Jack Cade adaptation number, we can get more of this maybe next year. But some of the when you get to a winery like this, it does. For a wine shop like us, it does come to the volume of sales of other wines that they look at to get you allocations. So. This is one I'm telling you right now. I'm grabbing a bottle, maybe 2, because it is absolutely yummy and delicious, and I know it's something that I'm probably going to want to have a little around the house at some point and drink again. I
mean, we mentioned Biale. I mean, the Brega folks out there. Folks. The Vatans that we've done. I mean, we've done several big boy heavy reds, but this one, it's big, but it just has this like plush. I guess that's the best way I can kind of describe. It doesn't have that sharp edge. It's almost like, I know it's cliche, but iron fist, velvet glove. I mean, this is a bold rock of a wine, but it's been chiseled. I mean, it's been chiseled down to where it's going. It takes you on that journey. It doesn't just kind of leave you just, there. It doesn't bring you back. I think this is a wine that just really touches on so many fine points. I mean, it's like a hippo that can do ballet or something.
Yeah, and I would say it's got great mouthfeel. It's not it's tannic, but it's not overly tannic. I think when we did the Parat from Spain, that was more tannic. That was more pucker. This is juicy. This is juicy on the front, just nice and silky smooth on the back. Very easy drinking. Definitely something I think a lot of folks.
It looks like the wines that back in medieval times, like they would have in the goblets or whatever. It looks like that, but it drinks so much softer than you're thinking.
Yeah,
it's really, really good.
So since we have the screen up, we'll go over a little recap here of everything we drank tonight. We started off with the Bordeaux Blanc.
Perfect fall white.
Perfect fall white. Yep. Really can't get any better than that. Down to $18 if you're getting discounts on top. Again, it's a Kermit Lynch import. I don't have a lot of
floral. It's got some weight to it, guys. I mean, it's not super acidic, but it also doesn't get the weight from oak barrels. It's going to split the difference. Again, I can't tell you how many folks that go, you know what, I only drink red wine. They go, you know what, I'll drink that. So this is that wine for Tim, Sally, Susie, whoever in the family that is that person. This is the wine for them. Yeah.
And then we went with a little Dolcetto d'Alba. Again, another Kermit Lynch import, down to 23 from 25, plus your discounts. Again, that's at 25. It was matching the internet. 600
cases. You showed the picture. It was actually from the tallest hillside in all of Alba. You know, I mean,
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And then our offer still stands. I mean, you know, half a pallet, I can definitely put in a good word for
get you a night.
I could probably
stay
at least get you at least one night
at the
there,
Pizzato. There's a Pizzato there in Alba. Yeah, I'm ready to stay there. And then the La Pasta Fazio Malbec. I'll tell you what, if you enjoyed the Piscelli,
the Pizzilla,
sorry,
pizza because it was like
Pizzilla,
the Pizzilla,
the blue label. If you see with the La Pasta with the blue label, that one, and the Palucci there.
Yeah.
If you have that one, this is the big brother. Definitely a little bit bigger, bolder, but it's also perfect for this time of year when you're looking for a little bit bigger
value.
And the value too. Gosh, $19 tonight plus your discounts. Again, beating up the internet with that. The Ulamba Bushvine Grenache, folks.
Fun, funky, different,
great, different, but also delicious. And again, pair that with a beef stew, and you're going to be a happy camper. 21. Again, if you're getting any of your discounts, you're getting that under 20. That's a pretty
well,
nice
it's
deal.
in something that you just don't see all the time. And again, why drink the same thing all the time from the same areas, right? That's why we're here. That's why you watch the show.
Yep.
We want to bring you something fun, kind of rare, but from established wineries, not just from a Johnny Come Lately that just hey, here you go. This is the wine from the former USSR.
All these wines are coming. They're established, and we're not talking about millions of cases. If anything, we're talking about maybe 10,000 cases and stuff, but we're not talking about. And again, maybe some of these we're talking about less than that.
Yeah, just a couple hundred cases.
Yeah. So, and then we finished up there with that Adaptation Petit Syrah. Again, if you're looking to have a wine to put away for the holidays and pull out and have a good with meals, yes, this is the one to do it with. Or if you're looking for a gift for the boss, they're going to look at this and go, "How'd you get one of this?" I mean, I don't have a lot of it. Again, 24 bottles. That's it. Once 24 are gone, that's it. They're gone.
And we're in brownie points. We all have those couples that maybe travels a little bit more than we do and goes out to Napa, and it seems like everything we pull out, they're like, "Oh, we've been there. I'm going to tell you about the wine." This is something that even though they have Odette and maybe they've had Plum Jack, definitely Arcade, Adaptation Petit Syrah, I never knew they made that. Well, so that's what you want, guys. You want to bring those brands that maybe they've seen, which are already boutique in themselves, and then bring them something even more boutique that's just like, you're like, well, And
if you're in the club and you're getting discounts on top of this, I'm beating the winery at this price. I'm telling you right now. You can't
when
be.
I said $85, guys, I'm not.
I'm beating the winery.
I am about what you're going to pay.
I'm beating the winery because the winery sells it more than 54. So I know it's so
stained
beautiful.
It's stained
again, a reminder: next week, Virtual Vines, we're going to be having Gary Eberly, and of course, if you're on the website and you scroll down just beneath the wines for this week, it has next week's wines on there. Go ahead and throw a bottle on if you want to drink along with us. We're going to have a lot of fun with Gary. And again, the godfather of Paso Robles wineries. He's the guy who
larger than life, physically large,
brought the wineries there.
Too big dude, used to play football, but you're gonna big hoot. Well, we'll actually try to talk about wine.
Yeah.
Because he's so fun and funny, guys. He's got so many stories and the anecdotes he talks about. I mean, he talks about Robert and Davi like I talk about us and remember a few weeks ago we did that. He goes, "Oh, I remember back in '85, me and I'm like, he pulls that out of left field." So we're just
it's going to be a great show. It's probably, I'm going to tell you right now, we're trying to keep this one at about an hour, a little over an hour. That one's going to probably be an hour and a half, maybe two.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to stop them. But the good news is, if you have to stop, it's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. You can continue watching. Come back and watch. I'm just not going to stop them. I mean, they get an opportunity to have Gary on the show. We don't get that. I mean, it's not easy to do. Even getting a Gary in the shop is not easy to do.
No.
But to be able to have a show where we can have him his time for 90 maybe plus minutes.
Royalty, definitely.
It's gonna be a great show. So go ahead and order a bottle. And again, TC saying go Syrah.
Zen. You're definitely going to go to the Zen. The cab guys, the cab and the full bore. The full bore because you want to have for everyone. The cab just because it's cab, it's delicious. Put it away. The Syrah is what you're probably going to get the nuance of, but the Zen you're going to be like, damn, that's just fun. And
it's fun and good.
You're going to try not to open the Zen, but the Zen's going to get open.
Yeah,
and then again, get the VD because you want to have a little something other than just. Yeah. But hey, maybe you want to have a red party. Maybe just open all reds.
Open all reds. You
do that.
Maybe get a couple of folks together, put it up on the big screen out from through YouTube or
we'd love to see. We'd love to see
have you all
hear
on there.
What everybody's drinking as well. So.
And then the following week, on the 26th, we're going to do wines paired with Halloween candy. So this way, when you have that candy sitting in the house and you don't know what to do with it, and and you're going, I wonder if this wine will go with it. We'll tell you what wines go with what candies. It's gonna be fun. It'll be kitschy, niche-y. You can tell your friends about it at work on Tuesday about what wines you think or the ones you can't wait to try with your Halloween candy that you have laying around the house. And a reminder on your club wine discounts, if you're ordering right now on the website, type in cellar if you're in the cellar club, estate in the state, reserve in the reserve, and the coupon code portion of the checkout process, and that will get you your club level discounts. And thank you guys. Any last questions, comments? And we got anything else to say here? I know some people are putting their orders in now, so thank you so much.
Adaptation.
Yeah, it is. It is really, really, really good. And Barb is a yes for the vest. So maybe we end up getting vests, power vests.
Well, you know me, I'm a retro guy, so I'm one of those that's the old school like V's and the retro colors, or maybe it could be like what was it? Back to the Future, where it's kind of like that the faux suede there, and then like the red below, maybe something like that.
Maybe. You know what? I'll have to talk to my person and and see what we can get. But yeah, maybe I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is, because obviously through the holidays and into the new year, I'd like to have another. If you order so many bottles, buy so many bottles, you get something. And so the hat seems to be working. We're about to give out a lot of hats here in the next little bit. So thank you so much again. If you're ordering, you get 24 bottles from between now and November 30th. You get a loaded grape hat. We have several different colors, so you can go ahead and check that out. So if you want to do that, and I know there's a lot of people that are very close to hats or getting hats. Barb might be one of them that will be getting a hat soon, as well as
there's a lot of people coming up on getting hats.
Yeah, a lot of people coming up on getting hats. And if they're watching, look forward to everybody wearing their hats around town and more people discovering us through that. So.
Absolutely.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, you can head over to the loadedgrape.com to put your orders in. And again, next week's gonna be a lot of fun. So you can definitely throw a bottle of the Eberly in, or try to pick it up when you're in the shop. Any last comments, Van? What was your favorite tonight? Because I know we didn't get a chance.
I actually have 1, 3, and 5. Those are my favorites. 5 being the definite superstar.
Yeah.
It's,
but I love the white. But I love white right now, no matter what.
Well, and what's great about those 3 selections, with that and the discount, you're under $90.
Yeah, you're still under $100. Yeah, you're still with the discount.
Reserved to your wine, getting you 2 for this week.
Yeah.
Still,
maybe you should start doing that, like the bundle.
The bundle.
Not quite blowing
the
bundle for next week.
The budgie bundle, but. So thank you guys so much. TC, thanks for joining us. Again, we'll let you know we are going to be doing another one of our dinners here in Greensboro, and probably again at the Porterhouse. It's going to be Thanksgiving themed as soon as I get confirmation on the dates and everything, and we'll get that up. I know we sold out 2 dinners because we had a social distance, so we couldn't do so many people, but
it worked out great.
It worked out great, and so we'll probably have to do 2 again. And so we'll have 2. It's going to sell out fast. Trust me. Even when I had hey, I had 6 spots open. Those 6 spots filled up, and that was 2 days before, and it filled up. So I will definitely have a waiting list of people to take places as well. But thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you have a wonderful week. Look forward to seeing you in the Loaded Grape this week to pick up your wine. If you have any other questions or need anything, just let us know. And then good night, and we'll see you next Monday.
You guys.
Guys, much. Be safe.